This presentation will show the procedure to safely load a wheelchair user onto your bus. When bringing a wheelchair user onto your bus, you always work as a team. Remember, only trained transportation personnel may operate the lift to load and unload students who use wheelchairs. The paraeducator is inside the bus in the lift area. Prior to loading a wheelchair onto the lift, remove any items that will stop you from safely securing the wheelchair user. Items such as trays need to be removed, checked to make sure it is in good working order, and safely secured. Never remove any medical devices without the express written consent from the parents.
Hey buddy, ready for school? Alrighty, let's go!
Make sure the lap belt on the wheelchair is secured on the student before loading them onto the lift. Always load the student on the lift facing outward. Once on the lift, apply the brakes on the wheelchair and latch the lift belt. Some lifts will not operate unless the lift belt is latched. The person operating the lift shall communicate to the student and the para that the lift is being raised. The driver must have one hand on the chair at all times. The paraeducator inside must have both hands on the chair when the chair is safely within reach. The paraeducator must continue holding the chair before the brakes on the wheelchair are released. Make sure the student's arms are not positioned outside the chair when bringing the student onto the bus. Once the chair is clear of the entrance, the driver will stow the lift and close the lift door. The para will position the chair in the center of the securement's wheelchair station and set the brakes. Always position the wheelchair and rider facing forward. Most sudden stops are in a forward direction and most crashes are frontal. The forward-facing student will bend forward rather than sideward, reducing the risk of serious injury. Here is the wheelchair tie-down and occupant restraint system, or WTORS. Make sure that each part is in good condition and operating correctly. On the 4-track WTORS system, place the 2 rear securements on the 2 inner tracks, with the hooks facing out, or inside out. Now that the rear securements are in place, let's look at the front securements. The front securement hooks are placed in the 2 outside tracks. The hooks are facing in, or outside in. So, inside out in the back and outside in the front. The hooks of the securements should be attached to the wheelchair at either a structural frame member of the wheelchair or the WC-19 connections on the wheelchair. WC-19 wheelchairs are crash tested and have designated hookup points that are designed to survive impacts. If you do not have a WC-19 wheelchair, it is best to attach the tie-down straps to welded junctions of the wheelchair frame or to other structural areas where the frame is fastened together with hardened steel bolts. Do not attach tie-downs to any adjustable, moving, or removable parts of the wheelchair, such as armrests, footrests, and wheels.
This time, I promise.
These points should be located on the wheelchair with a straight load path at approximately a 45-degree angle. Make sure that the straps have no twists in them. Each securement strap is straight, with no twists.
This is so fun.
The team will each secure a set of the floor securements. The brakes will be released and the securements tightened to remove any slack. Then the chair is moved side to side and back and forth to take any slack out of the securements. This is called the shake test. After all the slack is taken up and the wheelchair is secure, the wheelchair brakes are then set to on. The last step is the lap shoulder belt. As a team, the para hands the lap shoulder belt connector to the driver. The lap belt should be placed low across the front of the pelvis, near the upper thighs, not high over the abdomen. When possible, the lap belt should be angled between 45 and 75 degrees to the horizontal when viewed from the side. The diagonal shoulder belt should cross the middle of the shoulder and the center of the chest, and should connect to the lap belt near the hip of the wheelchair user. The para adjusts the height of the lap shoulder belt to make sure it rests on the student's shoulder between the neck and shoulder, and does not cross the student's neck. The driver and para check the straps to make sure there are no twists. Ensure the webbing is as close to the body as possible. Make sure that it's not over armrests or wheels. The occupant restraint system should be positioned so that the floor attachment is next to or behind the wheelchair floor securement. The upper attachment should be in line with the floor attachment. The occupant restraint system must always be used. There are no exceptions.
Ready for school?
Yeah!
Let's go!
Yeah!
With teamwork, every time we pick up a student that uses a wheelchair, we can assure that they are safe and ready to be transported to and from school.
Yeehaw! We made it!
Bye! Hey!
Thank you for watching.